they've disgraced. I'm getting old and weary. Not because of my age, but because of my youth. But because of what my youth had done to me. The youth that spits on my toils, that spits on the life that I've given. See, I'm a museum walking. The heart that I have, the mind that I obtain, and the womb that I contain is rare to find, or it has become extinct. So sad how I have to grab your attention. I have to throw a tantrum like giving you a slight tremor, or threaten you with a volcano, or global warming, for you to love me. The colors of my rainbows have become blurry. The rain regrets to set its feet on this dry ground. The stars in the skies get mad at you for calling yourself a rainbow. The sun in the sky gets confused as to when to rise or sit. The moon cannot wait for the morning time. So, what else then do you have? I have arthritis. Not because I'm older, because it's genetical, but it's because I've been kneeling and praying while you were out there on strike complaining. Stop cursing and start speaking words of wisdom that I've been breastfeeding you. With these words, one can change the nation. With these words, one can heal the next person. Forgive me if I stumbled on my words, for I've been silenced too long. Silenced because nobody wanted to hear me. Not silent. For if I was silent, then it means I chose to keep quiet. You are my offspring, my crown of pure joy. Yes, you've been hurt and humiliated, but let us go forward with our wounds. True soldiers heal along the way. Resemble me well, with pride and dignity. Represent me with music and dance. For without music, your feet are only meant for walking. Smile, my angel. Sometimes that's the only thing that can make sense. A smile. Preferably yours. We've seen so much about our history. We've seen documentaries, watched movies, read novels, books about our history, but not even a sentence about our future. So that's when you come in. You are the future that is perpetual. You do not stop. You cannot stop. You don't stop. Not when my last breath is on you. Now the sun can shine on you. And the rain, it only falls only when you want it to. But wait. These words are sugarcoating the realistic issues here. They're not helping that 5-year-old who's screaming out, "Please, somebody, help me!" as he forces himself onto her. They're not helping that 15-year-old who's next in line for an abortion. They're not helping that 16-year-old who's got a 45-year-old client on a bed. They're not helping that 85-year-old who's got 10 grandchildren to take care of. They're not comforting the homeless. They're not feeding the hungry. And now I wonder how useless these words might be. And now tell me, what are you willing to do with these words?
ladies and gentlemen. The Indian dance we are about to perform was choreographed by Shan Ray Naika, and my love for Indian dance was inspired by Bollywood movies.
Hello everyone, I was very honored in learning the dance as it's the only connection that I have to my father's side of the family, him being half Indian and all. Enjoy.
दिल मांगता है दिल 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 मांगता है दिल मांगता है दिलदार सोनिए तो आजा सोनिया प्यार कर ले कर ले कर ले कर ले प्यार कर ले परा सोनिए तो आजा सोनिया
YouTube gaan kyk het vir 'n video. Ek het nog al my lewe gedink ons Afrikaners doen maar net sokkie of langarm. Maar nou weet ek ons regte egte dans is die volksspeel, knikkers.
Sorry, maar ek is so ver van my hart. Ek hoop om haar weer te sien. Sy het in die wijk van die mooie vier gewoon, tot voor die oorlog geen begin. O, bring my terug na die ou Transvaal, daar waar my Sari woon. Daaronder in die milies by die groen doornboom, daar waar my Sari maar ek. Daaronder in die milies by die groen doornboom, daar waar my Sari maar ek. O, bring my terug na die ou Transvaal, daar waar my Sari woon.
Hello everyone, my name is Norma. I'm half Shona and half Zulu. This Tswana dance was inspired by a group of Tswana friends I grew up around. So enjoy it.
Yelele ma yelele.
Right.
I always assumed that my future would somehow connect with my past. But here I am grieving for my cultures that my soul belongs to. Ever since I was born, my cultures have been told to me by my parents. It's like a storytelling. They say they used to sit around the fire, eating umphuthu nobhontshisi and drinking umqombothi while sharing folk tales. They say they used to practice cultural ceremonies for young girls like me, where they were taught how to behave and be submissive to their husbands. But I never got a chance to experience any of this. And from the stories that my parents told me, I became deeply confused because it leaves me with a question mark whether I'm Zulu or Swati. My heart bleeds when I think of Heritage Day. Because last year's Heritage Day has been a painful day to me. I visited a certain village where they were celebrating their heritage in a hall. I looked around. There were small cultural groups moving around in their traditional attire, singing, dancing. I remember. I stood in the middle of the floor and asked myself, where do I fit in? Which culture do I choose? Where do I belong? I am living an abnormal life. So I might as well embrace my life the way it is, because I feel there is more to my destiny than to my past. You may have all the money in the world, but if you don't know where your roots are, then you are lost in the dark pretending with a friendly masked face. The need for human companionship is universal. In ancient times, people used to stick together for survival. But in today's world, we tend to spread out and live more isolated lifestyles. But it's not because we want to, it's because we are lost. We don't know our positions, our roles in societies. So Mzansi people, I don't need either of you to stand by me through this pain and fear. But all I want is for everyone to search within themselves. Who are you? Who are you? Are you a father when you're supposed to be a mother? Are you a mother when you're supposed to be a child? Open your eyes to the culture of stupidity that surrounds us today. And ask yourselves, what will you teach your children? I am searching for my roots. So I need you, and you, and you. Actually, I need all of you to search your roots and acknowledge them. Be in accordance, because together we can.
Hey, mmogo re ka kgona.
Ja, saam kan ons.
Yebo, ngokubumbana singakwenza.
Awe, awe, awe. Awe. Awe, 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 awe. Awe. Awe, awe, awe. Awe, awe. Awe. Awe, awe. Awe. Awe, awe, awe. Plastic chairs pulled up to a plastic table to set this informal Sunday lunch. I'm not used to this. Ma sits on my far right sipping on a glass of sweet wine. My mother regales me of stories of her last visit to this home on Circuit Road. She could drink, my mother would say, and hide a quart under my skirt from any suspecting family members. On the table, a well-polished AMC pot filled with rice and a beautifully red chicken Cornish curry. That fragrance, it laced the air, and I knew then that I was starved. Chicken scratcher, giblets, neck, and bottom were the strange favorites of this family. But as the visitor, I was quite happy to choose the drumstick. I found myself involved in 4 conversations and attentive in all of them. Boer bulls and Alsatian puppies with papu. Point Road, collab hopping, popping bottles at Suvir. Food. conversation of my next visit with Mom. Amongst all of this chats and excitements, my Aunt Rita hands me a stack of photos, which dated to about 19 years. 6 months was the last this family had seen. As an Indian baby, chubby, with a black dot centered on my forehead. In this home, I enjoy curry, but I don't eat enough. I'm too fair. I'm not Indian enough. I'm too foreign. It's Holiday Street and I'm visiting my grandmother. She sits at the head of her table and a thick haze of cigarette smoke appears after every exhale. She's hoarse as a result of her loyalty to Stuyvesant, but this only reaffirms her strong character. At 69, my granny still had enough energy to find me a potential suitor. No desperado, she'd say. You must be wakker. Pray for your husband, Sade. God will send you enough options so that you can pick, choose, and refuse. My granny. So wise, and yet claimed to have dropped out of school with tea time. She knew her Bible verses so well, you could bind her up in leather and print the King James Version on her front. She wasn't just biblically inclined, she was up to speed with mainstream music as well. She'd sing, "So you want to play with magic," while talking about Delilahs and Jezebels. In this home, I had my own teaspoon, a bed forever awaiting my arrival. I wasn't home until I was in Holiday Street. In this home, I was the first granddaughter, the example. We're watching reruns of Mabango, and my granny is telling me about the happenings of this episode. We've already watched this. This is the omnibus, but I don't mind. I entertain her with displays of her favorite soap stars, and she'd clap and say, "Good day on my phone!" A happy accident which I couldn't help but laugh at and just be called boy, because I knew she was so used to calling her grandsons. She'd shout and say, "Why are you watching the Kardashians?" and tell me that my American lineup was just rubbish chewing away at my brain cells. In this home, I slept too long to be a lady, but I was the entertainer. I didn't speak enough Zulu. But in this home, I was not colored, black, Indian, or white. I was only Sade.